All right. Hey guys, how's it going? It's me. It is 7:58 on Saturday evening, February the 9th. I just finished recording a stream for Earth. We reviewed version 7 of Earth video number 2. So if you haven't seen that yet, that'll be the link right down beneath this one. So the post on the dashboard below this post will be version 7 review. So if you're interested, please feel free to check that out. I do have a new microphone. So for anybody that had problems hearing me before, I'm hoping this will clear things up just a little bit. So please feel free to let me know. These are the notes for the production team, and I will get those to those guys later. Right now, what I'm doing by request is I have a request to talk about the Earth project in the form of actually I don't think there was a specific question. It wasn't. It was just a more broad question about hey, I missed the first meeting, or I've got this piece of information but not this piece of information. Could you kind of walk through the Earth project and what it is, and kind of explain things from the start? And so this video is the first part of a two-part video that I'll do. This first part that I'm going to do is internal for ATOVA agents, and I'm going to cover the portion of the Earth project that affects ATOVA agents and benefits ATOVA agents. So how does the Earth project benefit ATOVA agents? That's going to be this stream right now. And I'm doing it on the Broker Daily channel. Part 2 will be an overview of the Earth project as a whole, and I'm going to stream that on the Earth channel. And I'll probably do that tomorrow or Monday. So let's take a look at what the Earth project is from a perspective of ATOVA agents. Let's pick a random color here and get a decent size. That's way too significantly large. That'll work. Okay, so how is the Earth project going to benefit ATOVA agents? Now, this portion of what we're going to talk about is internal. So this is not going to be something that we're going to be out in public, myself or you guys. When you're talking about the Earth project, what we're going to be talking about in this stream today is not what you should be out there talking about. This is internal benefits and not for public consumption. So this box that I've just drawn represents the market as we've known it. So, for the past 5, 10, 15, 20 years, the real estate market to a large extent has been the same. We've been looking at 6% commissions. You take a listing at 6%, 3% goes to the buyer's agent, and that's kind of how it's been. There was a lot of concern back in the 90s into the early 2000s with the internet gaining a foothold in essentially every household across the nation, that oh my gosh, the internet is here, and now with the internet, the real estate market is going to be totally different. It's going to be wiped out. So, the internet is here. Agents are no longer needed. Life as we know it is over. The real estate market, the traditional real estate market, is gone. That did not materialize. The internet became a valuable tool for consumers to identify information, and the market evolved a little bit. Consumers became more knowledgeable, more empowered, but they still depended upon agents to um, do everything else, right? And so the market did not go away as a result of the internet coming into existence. Um, but now we're faced with a new challenge, and that new challenge is that um, disruptive technologies are entering the marketplace with the specific intent of essentially reinventing the industry. The real estate industry is looked upon by disruptive companies as antiquated. It's, we're doing business this old fashioned way with 6% and 3%. And why do we have to do that? We don't have to do that. There are ways that there are solutions and technologies that we can deploy to empower consumers, to enable home sales to be transacted more affordably, and essentially we can wipe out the old real estate marketplace and replace it with this new solution. So we have things like Redfin, which is essentially it's a discount listing brokerage. So it's just like consider Help You Sell or Assist to Sell. Those two entities have been around for a long time, and they've offered discounted listings. But consumers never flocked to that. Consumers weren't like, oh yeah, $1,000 listing, or what's his name? Lowe's flat fee, Roger Lowe with Lowe's flat fee. So Help You Sell, Assist to Sell, Lowe's flat fee. With the presence of those entities offering, $1,000 to list plus 3% to a buyer's agent, how come that hasn't just taken over the market? And the reason is, in my opinion, is that those entities never really brought any significant brand value to the table. They never brought any sophisticated tools or systems or resources that really changed anything. It was the redheaded stepchild, the Taco Bell of eating out. If you want a discount and mediocre service and questionable results, then sure, go to Help You Sell or Assist to Sell. What Redfin is doing is they're offering those discounted pricing structures, but they're doing it with a tremendous value add, not only in the quality of the brand itself, but in the technology solutions and the entire experience. And so they're doing it correctly, and they're already beginning to disrupt the market in some of our feeder market areas like the Bay Area. When Redfin chooses to enter the Boise market, there will be an impact to the Boise market. You'll find that you'd had a listing presentation and you thought it went really well, and you connected with the seller and you were expecting them to call you to give you the thumbs up to list it on Monday. But instead you got an email from them on Monday that says, we really liked you, but we went with Redfin because it was going to save us $13,000. That will happen. I believe that will happen a little bit when Redfin first enters the market, and then a little bit more the next year, and a little bit more the year after that. And then as they gain traction and gain a foothold in the market, eventually you're going to find that the existing 6% listing structure is just gone because they've undermined it. And that's just one disruptor. At the other end of the spectrum, you have a risk of Amazon getting into the real estate marketplace. And that's not a long shot. I mean, there's word out there that they are considering entering the space. And if that happens, if you get goodness gracious, if Amazon does enter the marketplace, that could just be like overnight, see you later. or if there's some other questionable entity that enters the market that is just gains a lot of consumer traction right away. Let's say that it's like Uber to the taxi industry. Somebody deploys an Uber-like solution that resonates with consumers, and in the course of 6 months to a year, everybody's like, oh, that's how it used to be, but now we all use blah, and real estate's so much easier now. And so, whether it's Redfin, who's expanding slowly and entering different markets, and eventually will enter the Boise market and gain traction over time. So whether it's a protracted market disruption that takes years, or whether it's something like Amazon or an unknown yet to be determined disruptive technology, a disruptive brand that enters the marketplace, I think that we are in fact under attack by many different sources. If you Google, let's just Google something now. Let's Google real estate disruptors. Let's sort this by tools anytime in the past month. Let's just go to this website here. Real estate disruptors. Do they even have any good stuff here? This looks like interviews and podcasts. Let's try top 5 real estate disruptors. These are not the disruptors I was looking for. That's okay. There was one down there. This is Rex. This is AI, artificial intelligence in the real estate industry. There was an article I was looking for here, which was a VC venture capital real estate disruptor. Oh, the next industry to fall is. For the answer, just ask the disruptors. So let's see what they say here. Top 1. So the top 1. The value that agents bring to the equation is being outpaced by virtual technology and smarter, faster systems to evaluate, negotiate, and purchase. That's a great statement. I think that is reflective of the reality that we face. And so they're not naming companies. There was an article I was looking for where there was VC money, tech disruption. Real estate industry poised for tech disruption in 2019. This is a Bloomberg article. This agent remembers a time just a few years ago when a printer, a scanner, and a fax machine were the most important tools of his trade. It's okay. I don't need to find this particular article, but it was an article that was talking about this VC company has invested this much money in this real estate disruptive company, and this VC has invested this much money in this real estate disruptor, and it was just money flowing everywhere and projects being developed everywhere, and really it made me feel like this, like our industry is being attacked from all angles, both known and unknown. So what happens when, let me change this to 25. So what happens when the market as we know it gets sad? When the market that we know is effectively gone. 6% commission, 6% commission with 3% going to the buyer's agent is just doesn't exist anymore, because now consumers are accustomed to and enjoying listing their homes and buying homes through Amazon or through XYZ disruptive company. What happens when our livelihood, which is the 6% commission, is literally wiped off the face of the planet? It doesn't exist anymore. When effectively we've been replaced by, I don't want to say a computer, but we've been replaced by essentially the computer, right? So I don't need to go into the details of how the consumer facing workflow, how consumers will find properties and schedule their own showings and then write offers on their smartphones by just filling in the blanks, and then the seller receives the offer on their smartphone and they can decide the counterpoints that they want, and then it's just all it's just simple, it's easy, it's more affordable, and it's going to take a lot more work on the consumer side to deal with inspections and repairs and all the stuff that we do. But if the pitch to the consumer is save the money by using the technology, I think consumers are going to migrate to that eventually, whether it's now or 3 months from now or 3 years from now or 30 years from now. I don't know, but I would bank it being more to the tune of a year to 5 years, where we're looking at, I don't want to say a year to 5 years, a year where we start seeing the beginnings of the impact, and possibly 3 to 5 years from now where the market as we know it is gone. So what are we going to do about that? Are we just going to say, well, it was good while it lasted, and so now we're going to all go get a job at the grocery store, or what are we going to do? So one of the ways that we can preserve the 6% commission structure is by controlling the property. So essentially, what I want to do is use the Earth Project. The Earth Project is a mechanism. Let's actually go ahead and grab this print screen, copy, paste. There we go, much better. So the Earth Project is pretty grand in scale, and it will potentially be very successful of its own right, and we'll talk about that in the next stream. But one of its side benefits, which is a main benefit for us, is that it will enable us to spin off capital. So Earth generates money, so it's a capital formation entity. So from an internal perspective, from an Atova perspective, from a you as an agent perspective, Earth is a capital formation entity. It does whatever it does, and one of the results of that is that capital is created. And then what we can do is, what we're going to do is we're going to take that capital and we're going to use it to actually build. And so we're going to build houses, and those houses that we build, my artwork is just fantastic. I need to draw a tree. The houses that we build are going to be our houses to sell, and because we are the sellers, we can determine, we control the commission structure. So where the resale market and maybe the new construction market have all abandoned the 6% commission structure, and now they've all migrated to, the whole process costs $500. You can't live off of $500, right? So we can preserve the 6% structure if we're building the houses ourselves and selling them ourselves. So if Earth is forming enough capital that enables us to build enough homes that I can then have Atova agents list and still pay you your 3% listing side. So if we look at the number of homes that Atova has sold, let's just say that every agent needs to sell 20 homes a year. So we need to be raising enough capital to be building hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of homes. So effectively, Earth will enable Atova to become a developer of real estate to a volume that is sufficient to offer agents a traditional commission structure, offer Atova agents a traditional commission structure for selling our own inventory. So Earth is a capital formation entity that will enable us to build and then sell our own inventory so that you can still get paid. So it effectively replaces your livelihood. So where your livelihood is currently based upon the overall market being in a mode of 6% as the structure, when that goes away, it's okay because we now have our own inventory to sell, which is still going to pay you the same commissions. So that, in a nutshell, is the internal reason why Earth is valuable to you. And then now with the grant of Earth to you, like the stock option, with the 10,000 Earth that that producing agents received, and that non-producing agents can get their share if they produce in 2019. If you are a producing agent, you're going to be receiving Earth. You'll be receiving stock options. They're not stock options because that's a legacy, antiquated way of looking at it, but it's the easiest way to explain it. So you'll be receiving Earth, which is effectively ownership in the company, which again is not the right word because Earth is a unit of value on a blockchain, and it's the old way of looking at things doesn't really apply anymore. But for the sake of easy discussion, you're getting stock options in the company, and so your secondary benefit will be that you'll get your shares from Earth will go up in value. So let's say you have 10,000 shares in Earth, or 10,000 Earth. If you have 10,000 Earth, and we'll do a parenthesis here, RTH. So if you have 10,000 Earth, and in the future, as we are building and expanding and the value of Earth increases, if we can get Earth up to $100 a share, or $100 per Earth, which is my target, we end up with an environment where your 10K of Earth, sorry for this whiteboard horribleness, at 100 shares apiece. When you're doing this type of multiplication, you just add up all the zeros. So there's 1 0, 2 zeros, 3 zeros, 1, 2, 3, and then 3 more, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then a 1. And that's your secondary benefit right there, is that Earth will enable you to continue to maintain your existing livelihood in the form of, we have our own inventory to sell, and we still offer our agents 3% listing commission to do so. And the secondary benefit being actual ownership of Earth itself, which I want to use to turn everybody into millionaires. So it is like I said, a large scale vision, but I think the scope and scale of the vision is commensurate with the nature of the project. So I'm really, really optimistic, and I'm really, really excited. So I'm going to be spending a good percentage of my focus on developing the Earth platform, as well as working on some of the other things that we talked about in the Atova advisory meeting, like developing and deploying a disruptive solution of our own in a market that is not our own. So let's go to Salt Lake or Portland or somewhere and deploy our own disruptive technology, and at the same time, I think those are the main three things. The main three things that we're working on is focusing on the fact that Atova is Boise grown and locally owned, and connecting with people in their neighborhoods, and using those types of that and the radio that we talked about. So employing different solutions to preserve the current market for as long as we can. So yeah, if Redfin's coming into the market, they're not desirable because they're cheaper, but they're somewhere else, and we're local and we care. We're more trustworthy. We're more caring. We have more experience in your neighborhoods, and so that's like somebody choosing to go out for a steak dinner instead of going out for Taco Bell, right? So we want Redfin to look like Taco Bell, and Atova is Chandler's. And so if we position ourselves like that, I think we can, to one extent or another, slow down the rate at which our market is undermined. But I don't think we can stop it. But that's angle number one, is fight to preserve what we have. Number two is the Earth Project. Number three is a disruptive technology of our own in a secondary market somewhere else. So those are the three things that I'm working on, but the majority of today's stream was about how does Earth benefit Atova agents, and these are the two ways. So I hope that's helpful. I will stream part 2 of this video, which is an overview of the Earth Project itself. What exactly is Earth, and what are we doing to that will enable Earth to create this capital? How does it actually function? So I'll talk about that in the next stream. And until then, that's it for now. So thanks a lot, guys. Have a good night. Bye-bye.